I'm crazy, and I'll put my feet on top of my bike, and I'll try to clutch up with my feet on my bike without a handbrake, and I had them yell at me so many times because of that. Hi, my name's Alyxbear, also known as Alyxbear, and I'm going to tell you the story of why I got into stunning. I actually haven't been riding my bike for a full year. I'm a new rider. Last July is when I actually put myself through a training course. You know, growing up around dirt bikes and sand toys and stuff, having my dad and my brother ride, and I wasn't able to, kind of really sucked. They had bigger bikes, so being 5'2", I wasn't able to really learn on their bikes. So, you know, through high school, I was like, whatever, I just snowboarded. So I'm pretty adventurous. I'll go hiking, do snowboarding, of course. But it got to a point where I was dating someone with a bike. First time ever dating someone that knew how to ride. And I was like, well, I want to be the one that's actually driving the bike. So I put myself through that training course. And a month later, after I passed, I didn't think I would pass, but I did. I was looking at bikes, and I saw Kawasaki 125 and the Honda Grom because of their small size. I was like, this would be the perfect learning bike. Even though my boyfriend at the time was pushing me to get a Harley, I'm like, hell no, I cannot ride a Harley for my first bike. So I was looking into them, and I was watching all these videos of these guys wheeling and stunning, and then all of them had sub cages and all this stuff, and I'm like, what is all that? I was looking into it so hard. I was like, I want to do that one day. Like, that looks like so much fun. And I ended up going to a dealer and actually purchasing a Grom. And from there, it kind of changed my life a little bit. I totally went into bike life mode. But from there, OC Goonies, Honda Grom Lifestyle, all those people, when they noticed on Instagram that I had a Grom, they actually started talking to me, and they're like, hey, you really need to go to a ride. Like, you have a Grom, like, come join us and have some fun. And I'm like, all right, sure. And I went on my first ride, and it was Tiny Tuesdays, and Rich and Doug were the ones that brought me in to the group, and they introduced me to everybody there. And it was so heartwarming to see that, and everyone has been so wonderful in the mini community. It's been so great. And but one of the main reasons why I actually really started getting into stunning and wheeling was that when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, it kind of helped me get through it a little bit. It just helped me take my mind off a lot of things when she was going through, like, her radiation sessions and all the surgery she had to go through. Learning how to wheelie and just riding really helped me and helped with my anxiety, my depression during that time. Especially being a single mom, you know, I never really had time to myself before that. Just being with my son all the time, I didn't work because I was always taking care of him. And just being introduced to bikes really opened that for me. Like, this is something that I really enjoy doing. Learning how to wheelie, not just wheelie, I really want to get into other stunts when I finally learn how to properly reach balance point, but how to properly actually ride it out. But I've just enjoyed it so much. Maybe it's just the adrenaline rush in me. I just love it. So during the time when my mom had cancer, I actually allowed my ex to ride my bike. And he didn't have a Grom, you know. And he saw me with my Grom, and I think he got kind of jealous because he saw me trying to practice wheelies, and he was like, damn. Because all he had was a Harley. And so he's like, damn, okay. So he actually started practicing on my bike since I had a sub cage on and everything. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Like, go ahead and practice on it. And he started doing stand-ups. And he was doing first gear. Like, he learned to do first gear and stuff without a handbrake because I have no handbrake on my bike still. I'm not at that point yet. Hopefully one day I can get a handbrake. And they're expensive, so I'm waiting. But so, well, his friends egged him on to do a second gear stand-up. And, of course, being a dude, you're like, all right. He ends up doing it, and he ends up crashing my bike. And my bike was out for a few months, and I was kind of really pissed at him. And thankfully, he replaced everything on my bike, but still, I was down and I wasn't able to practice. And once I got back to actually practicing when my bike was, completed from everything that he broke, I got really frustrated because I felt like I was starting all over again. The little progress that I made when I first started learning how to wheelie to not wheeling for like just a short, maybe a month. Like if I wouldn't wheelie for a month or practice anything, it got really frustrating because I felt like I was starting from square one. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know what I'm feeling because you just you get so excited. You're like, okay, I reached this goal and everything. And then all of a sudden, if you're down or if you're not practicing consistently, which I didn't have the opportunity to since I'm a mom. So it's not like I was at the lot all the time every week practicing how to wheelie or do anything. It put a damper on me, and I kind of got into this phase to where I was just too frustrated to actually practice. Like every single time I would go practice, I would just put all this pressure on myself and try to compare myself to other people. And that's something that you shouldn't do at all. You shouldn't compare yourself to anybody. Just compare or just make the goal for yourself. Don't worry about other people, what they can do and stuff, because if you look at that, you're always going to feel down about it. Like, oh, they're so much better than me. And, oh, this girl, she's amazing. She can wheelie and she can do all these other things. And I need to realize, like, I'm not there yet since I'm a beginner. I have so much to learn still, and I'm just so thankful that I have these people that are stunners that are around me, that are my friends, and they are the ones that can teach me how to do it properly and not to hurt myself, because I'm crazy and I'll put my feet on top of my bike and I'll try to clutch up with my feet on my bike without a handbrake, and I had them yell at me so many times because of that. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not revving it enough to where it's going to flip all the way back. And they're like, you don't understand. You can really injure yourself. And especially being a mom, they're like, you need to calm down a little bit because you have a baby. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But, and then just the whole stigma around, wheeling in the streets, or like we can't find spots to wheelie. Like thankfully there's this area where we can actually practice stunning, and the police department has no issue because we talk to them about it here. So everybody has like their fun stories and stuff. I've looped my bike so many times. I've probably looped it 5 or more times actually. My first crash was actually in Vegas. I wasn't doing anything crazy, but it was actually in Vegas during that big bike event last October. And I was just going in a turn. And being a new rider, I probably wasn't counter steering or doing something properly, or the ground was too gravelly. I don't know, but I ended up crashing. I was in the 4th lane of traffic, slid out, and I ended up in the 1st lane of traffic. Totally broke off my front brake lever. Thankfully, nothing else was damaged, but everybody was so sweet trying to help me find a front brake lever, but no one had one. So I rode around Vegas during that whole time that weekend with just my back brake. And it taught me a lot. It was really good actually practice for me for a beginner. But another story I have was when a couple friends of mine and we went to O-Spot, and it was nighttime already, and there wasn't really that many people there, maybe like a few workers, and we were just practicing wheelies and stuff. And I was clutching up. I probably popped about maybe 3 wheelies until I noticed there was a cop behind me. And I don't have mirrors on my bike, so I couldn't see the lights or anything. But my friend Ben was telling me, like, stop. And he was yelling at me. He's like, stop, Alicia, stop. But I couldn't see him because he was too far away. Or I wasn't paying attention like normally. And so the cop pulls me over, and he's like, by the looks of the sticker on your truck, wheelies are illegal, right? Because my friend Ben has a legalized wheelie sticker on his truck. And I'm like, yeah, I realize that. And he's like, well, you know what I'm going to do? What do you want to fix it ticket for? And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. What do you want to fix it ticket for? I'm like, okay, a headlight. He's like, all right. And so he went back to his cop car. My friends were talking to me. They're like, damn, Alicia, you're so lucky. You literally popped 3 wheelies in front of him. And he was like getting kind of angry and frantic because he's like, does this girl like know that the lights are on? Like, I'm right behind her and I'm still popping wheelies in front of him. But thankfully, he let me off with just a fix-it ticket, which I still need to pay. I haven't paid it yet, but I will pay it soon.